Hello, I'm Emma Wade-Smith, Her Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Africa, and I'm grateful to the Global Trade Review for providing me with this opportunity to talk to you about the UK government's trade and investment work in Africa, with a special focus on what we're doing in East Africa. The UK's Department for International Trade works across the trade and investment space at global as well as regional and national levels. At a global level, we're engaging hard in international fora such as the World Trade Organization, G7 and G20 to protect, promote and champion free trade. At regional levels, we have our network of 9 trade commissioners, each working at regional and national levels to drive forward our trade policy, market access and trade and investment promotion work, as I do in Africa. In Africa, we do this through trade and investment teams located in 21 countries on the continent, intertwined with a cadre of sector directors who have a Pan-Africa focus. This enables us to provide what companies tell us they most value from us: country expertise and industry knowledge. Through our market entry team, we are also able to provide route-to-market advice and market insights, particularly aimed at SMEs. And through UK Export Finance's growing presence on the ground in Africa, we can provide export financing as well. On this last point, I am delighted to note that UK Export Finance now have 4 international expert finance executives positioned across Africa, embedded within our UK Department for International teams, including Isaac Kahara, based in Kenya, with a remit for East Africa. You'll have a chance to meet Isaac on day 2 of this event, as he's going to be taking part in a panel to discuss how export credit finance is capitalising on East Africa's strategic position to boost infrastructure investment. Now, we have undoubtedly seen a hit to the levels of trade we saw prior to the pandemic almost everywhere in the world. Africa has been no exception. But the trade between Africa and the UK was still valued at £25.5 billion during 2020. And with the UK economy predicted to bounce back strongly in 2021, and Africa's economy is also expected to see positive economic growth this year, I'm optimistic that we can return quickly to seeing more trade between us in the months ahead. To enable that trade to happen, we've worked hard over the last few years to provide continuity of trading arrangements from that moment on the 1st of January 2021, when the UK left the European Union. For Africa, we have established the UK's generalised scheme of preferences for least developed economies. We've also negotiated trade agreements that provide continuity of arrangements with 16 African countries. And we support the development of the African Continental Free Trade Area as a powerful vehicle to enable trade liberalisation and boost economic growth and intra-African trade across the continent. Beyond trade, we have a keen focus on investment, including supporting more UK investment into Africa. Since the UK-Africa Investment Summit in January 2020, we've been working hard to support existing investors in navigating the challenging year that we have all experienced. But despite the pandemic's significant impact on global investment flows, including to Africa, we have not let up on our ambition to be Africa's investment partner of choice, as the Prime Minister Boris Johnson reiterated at our virtual Africa Investment Conference in January this year. Investment is an important means to help Africa's economies to recover from COVID-19, and to do so in ways that create economies that are greener, cleaner, more sustainable, resilient and inclusive. We're also supporting African investment into the UK, especially where this helps to scale and internationalise Africa's SMEs. So, having set out very briefly the picture of our work across the African continent as a whole, let me now talk particularly about East Africa. On trade policy, the UK has agreed and signed a trade agreement with Kenya following speedy negotiations in the latter part of 2020. This agreement is now in force and provides continuity of trading between our 2 countries, which is very good news indeed. This economic partnership agreement was based on the text that the EU had negotiated with the East African community. We, as the UK, made some technical changes to enable the new UK-Kenya agreement to be operationalised in a bilateral context. However, our ultimate aim is to achieve a comprehensive regional deal between the UK and the whole of the EAC. So the agreement with Kenya is therefore open to all EAC states to join when they are ready to do so, with articles to allow them to accede in future. Now that this agreement and all the others are in place, our focus has turned to implementation. And it's important that businesses are aware of these agreements that we have in place and what preferential arrangements they provide for, because we want more companies to trade, taking advantage of these arrangements. To help us increase the value of trade between Africa and the UK, these agreements need to influence behaviours and strengthen trade relationships. And as part of trade agreement implementation, we're now able to engage in regular committees and other dialogues with countries such as Kenya, with which we share a bilateral trade agreement. And this provides a framework for monitoring and enhancing our bilateral trade agreements while enabling discussion and information sharing to avoid any compliance breaches and mitigate against disputes being raised in the framework of these agreements. And we look forward to holding the first such meetings with the Government of Kenya in the coming months. Alongside this, we want to improve conditions for UK businesses to operate, including by addressing market access barriers. And despite improvements to the business environment in many countries, only 2 of Africa's economies feature in the top 50 in the Global Ease of Doing Business Index. Many key sectors across Africa remain closed to international competition or very difficult to penetrate in practice. Change is necessary to open markets, to unlock more business opportunities and enable greater flows of trade and investment. And we want to know what barriers UK companies are experiencing when you trade in Africa so that we can identify how best to inspire positive change. So if you're a UK company experiencing challenges in trading, you can email us on dit.africa@fcdo.gov.uk, or you can use the Report a Trade Barrier service on gov.uk. So let me talk a little bit now about the opportunities we see in East Africa. Demand for UK companies, products and services is far greater than supply. In part, this is because of the high standards that UK companies work to, providing quality and longevity, as well as the latest tech and innovation that will help Africa's economies be more sustainable. UK companies are also respected and appreciated for providing meaningful local jobs and often community support. And of course, we come pre-packaged with some strong ambitions around inclusivity and supporting more women in the workforce. As the world looks at the economic lessons that the pandemic has taught us, we have real opportunities to build forward better, including prospects to build more security into supply chains and to localise production. We know that many governments in Africa, including in East Africa, are exploring the possibilities that this could bring for industrialisation, diversification, job creation and economic growth. The 2 fundamental drivers of our trade work in Africa and East Africa are clean growth and technology. The UK, of course, has world-class expertise and capability in both areas, and these are key to enabling and unlocking Africa's economic potential without burdening the planet with unmanageable and dangerous additional carbon emissions. If this pandemic has taught us nothing else, it is the absolute imperative to invest in our healthcare systems globally. In Africa and East Africa, there are very real opportunities to support improvements in healthcare provision. This includes building the physical infrastructure of hospitals and clinics and training medical practitioners. But there is also a need for health tech solutions to revolutionise the way we keep people healthy. And the mobile phone penetration rates in East Africa creates real possibilities here. Alongside healthcare, of course, we see the enormous needs in education and skills. Again, there is demand for constructing new schools and colleges, but there is a strong demand for UK education expertise, from curricula to building partnerships or establishing new centres of learning. Once again, technology can transform the way Africa's children are taught and how Africa's youth and adults engage in lifelong learning to build new skills and stay relevant for a rapidly changing workforce throughout their lives. There is, of course, huge potential for clean growth, and not just in renewables. There are significant opportunities to develop Africa's physical infrastructure through more sustainable construction and materials, for example. And every growing economy needs energy. And in the UK, we have expertise in energy distribution and management to reduce energy use, and then, of course, growing capability in renewables to increase renewable sources of energy to power Africa's economic growth. Agriculture is another area ripe, if you'll pardon the pun, for more sustainable practices and the adoption of technology, including things like precision agriculture and more water-efficient production, to name just a few areas where UK capabilities can be game-changing for the economies of East Africa. The UK is also home to many of the goods and services that will help Africa to mitigate the impacts of climate change, including flood defence systems, climate risk insurance, and agri-tech solutions that support climate-resilient food production. We only have to cast our minds back just a few months to realise how important all of that stuff is to protect countries from things like devastating locust swarms, unseasonal flooding, or drought. Technology cuts across every sector, and its transformational possibilities can be seen in agriculture, energy, healthcare, life sciences, education, infrastructure and mining, not to mention financial and professional services. So on that point, fintech and insurtech are exciting areas of possibility. We all know the power of M-Pesa and the way it has transformed mobile payments and financial and economic inclusion. There is enormous potential to do more in this space, including giving innovative UK companies a platform to expand into Africa. Within East Africa, Kenya has established a foothold as an emerging regional hub for technology, but there is growing competition, including from the likes of Rwanda. And this makes technology and innovation a particular opportunity in this region. The fintech sector in East Africa has seen innovation blossom with customised and sophisticated payments and savings models, lending models, and financial and wealth management models. We are continuing to see digital transformation sweeping across the continent, with traditional banking and financial services stepping up, adapting and evolving with the aid of new fintech innovations to improve the lives of citizens in the digital economy. We've seen these fintech models being embedded as finance tools in critical sectors such as energy, infrastructure, healthcare and agriculture. And despite the challenges of infrastructure support and some cautious funding, these markets offer immense potential to scale, given the right infrastructure, regulatory and funding support. The expansion of mobile connectivity and internet penetration in recent years continues to be a catalyst for consumer access to better products and services. And the acceleration of digitisation offers many opportunities for companies in the tech space, from fintech and edtech to agri-tech. And in parallel, the supporting infrastructure that is required to power this growth, for example, in transport and communications. Across various countries in Africa, I have seen governments make efforts to nurture the fintech sector by proactively supporting growth through changes in the regulatory environment and the creation of experimental spaces to test new fintech innovators. It is collaborations between regulators, financial services providers, technology providers, and enabling industry players that will ensure that we can continue to drive financial inclusion, increase financial literacy, and create financial independence for consumers and businesses alike. As I bring my remarks to a close then, let me emphasise the importance I place on East Africa as an important regional trading partner, and the range of opportunities I see, with green growth and technology as the two key enablers across a host of industries and sectors. My teams across the region are here to help. If you're a buyer in Africa looking for the best product or service on the market, or a UK company exploring possibilities to expand your business in Africa, we look forward to hearing from you. And remember, we have made it as easy as possible for you to get in touch with us, to tell us about your business interests and ambitions. We are a single email away, so please do get in touch with us at dit.africa@fcdo.gov.uk. Thank you.